Hi guys, and welcome to Franchise Talk. My name's Alex, and this is the franchise process. I've talked to you guys about this a little bit if you've seen my other videos and glazed over it slightly, but this is kind of important because this is a comparison model of what most franchisors go through, the guys who are introducing you to the franchise. And this is the process, and this is how you get information. So this is going to empower you to know how to collect information. Pretty important. So regardless of what you do, you're probably going to find a franchisor in some way, shape, or form, and you're going to get on the computer and you're going to research it. Now, there's two different ways you can handle this. You can either use a franchise consultant, which is a free tool that's going to put you through his or her own process to helping you find the right franchise that overlaps with your needs and values and goals. Or you can go it alone. Either way you do, this is going to help you collect that information. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be the one pulling the trigger and signing the check. So having that information is going to be paramount. But you also have to have a plan. So you need that plan so that you can finally be comfortable with pulling the trigger and working with that franchisor and essentially making an agreement. But everybody starts with connecting with the franchise. At some level, you're going to get on the computer and look at multiple franchises that are out there and how they're doing the system. You've probably read articles. But some people actually meet the franchisor, which is a little less frequent, but every once in a while you run into a good buddy and they'll tell you about a great franchise. And the third is really hopping on the phone and finding out what a little bit more about them, or seeing a franchise and just asking a question. I've seen that happen a couple times too. But either way you go, and no matter how you reach a franchise, you're going to get on the phone with them regardless at some point. Because it's more like a marriage. It's a very fine-tuned agreement over a long period of time. So you need to start that dialogue. You need to be comfortable with the people you're talking to. And so that is also going to put you back on the phone with them a couple more times to make sure that it's going to be initially the right fit. So continuing your pipeline, you're going to end up looking at a few things while you're doing research. Okay, that's going to put you back on the computer, and they're going to have you either watch videos. Just depends on the franchise. All franchises are different, so they might put you back on the computer to watch videos, to hop back on the phone with them. But at some point, they're going to hand you what's called an FDD, a franchise disclosure document, and this kind of tends to be a pretty big document. And it's written in plain speak, but really it's written by lawyers. So what you have to do is realize that this is not only your agreement, but it's their secret sauce, their method. And overall, you're no obligation, but you need to sign a receipt that sends a 2-week time clock, that starts a 2-week time clock for the federal government to form an agreement. So it's important, and you're not buying anything at that point, but what that's going to do is it's going to put you back on the phone with anybody who's going to be supporting you, whether it be friends, family, but more likely professionals there to help you, such as finance folks and consultants if you're using them. But you're going to go through a roundhouse of questions and details with them. At the end of the day, though, you're going to be forming and looking at that FDD, reading through it quite extensively. But in the second week, or about the second to third week or so, you're going to be past that list of phone numbers and contact information, and you're going to create a schedule and get those people on the phone. They're all the franchisees currently in existence. And you're going to make a questioning plan for these people because they're busy. I mean, they already own a business. So you need to make sure that you're not wasting their time or yours, but you still want to get accurate information. So the next step of this is, as you're going through these people and as you're working with these people, you're going to find good franchisees that love what they do and are making money. All right. As you go through them, you're going to ask them certain questions. You're trying to gather certain amounts of information, some of which I've listed here. But primarily, you're trying to gauge why they're successful and what kind of situation made them successful. Two biggest things. But as you go through the rest of them, you're probably going to end up finding some people who are middle of the road or even dissatisfied with what they've been through and are more than willing to share that information with you. And at that point, you just shouldn't get turned off by the franchise at that point. You should use it as a method of studying it and take it as it is. Realize who the source is. Not everybody's a great franchisee, and many big franchises have realized this. But what you're creating at this point is you're creating a notebook of information. You're creating this so that you can develop questions for the franchisor. And the questions that you're going to go back to the franchisor are going to be very fine-tuned and more so in relation to the FDD and comparing that information to what you're getting from the franchisees. And they should be able to answer this. Now, you're going to go back and forth on a lot of things, probably over the phone or via email. But at some point at this step, in this pipeline, you're going to get back on the phone and you're going to schedule a call with them to schedule out what's called a discovery day. It's a trip. You're going to be taking a trip out to their corporate headquarters, wherever that might be. And we've got some franchises in Canada. There's franchises all over the place. But their corporate headquarters is going to be a big deal. Because at this step, and when you finally do, this is before you make your decision, this is going to be a big step in finding out who they are and why they are. And they're going to more than likely be able to somewhat compensate you on that financially. But looking at it, you're going to be visiting the people who are going to be supporting you during that initial phase, but you're also going to be looking at and meeting the executive staff, the people who created the company and who are managing the corporate headquarters. These people are the people you need to meet. These people are who you need to gauge, because this is the leadership. These people affect how this company and how the company you're going to be purchasing is going to be affected in the future. So you're still in this discovery mode. What is this discovery day we keep speaking of? Well, I'll tell you, it's a great day because they take you through each step and process of a day in the life of their franchisee to show you the special magic. And what I mean by that is what makes that franchise so successful. Its own custom and unique way of doing things. And that's going to be important because you're going to have to compare that to your lifestyle. So at the end of your pipeline, this is at the very end of the shtick and the very end of the process. If there is a franchise discovery day, some of them don't, but you're going to go back to the people who are helping you, and you're going to have a meeting, essentially sit down, and even with your family, making sure that this is the right decision, laying out what's on the table with consultants, your financial folks, your lawyer, which I highly recommend and encourage. But then you're going to make sure that you finalize that plan, your business plan, and then finally, the last stage is signing the agreement. That is the franchise process in a nutshell. But for most people, this process can take anywhere from about 28 days to anywhere up to 120 days, even 6 months at times. 6 months at times. But that's the averages. Sometimes business opportunities and franchises can be faster. Sometimes it can be slower. It just depends. All franchises are different. So that's what makes them unique. There are thousands of them out there. And if you need help, check out Franchise Talk on YouTube. Please subscribe and share our videos and like our videos as we have and show you other learning tools as well as interviews with franchisors to make that interconnectivity and that feel out for franchises a little bit more unique to you. Take it easy.